Hello, welcome. How are you guys doing today? Welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. My name is Leticia, or you can call me Letty. I hope you guys are well. Happy Monday. I hope you guys got rest this weekend. Kind of a long weekend where I did a little respite. All right. Sometimes we need to get away and go to a different space. Sometimes we need to get away from home. As comfortable as home can be, I couldn't wait to get back home once I got away. I'm a bit of a homebody, but sometimes it's good to get out of your comfort zone. And, sometimes it's refreshing, it's replenishing. It provides a space for you to see outside of yourself, provides some clarity. And so it has been that kind of weekend for me. But you can't wait to get back home. It's just something about home for me. And home is where the heart is. As nice as places can be when you go away from home, there's just something about home that you can't wait to get back to. Get in your own bed, to shower in your own bathroom. There's just something very comforting for me. I love home. And so, but I hope this weekend has been restful for you guys and you got some time, to take care of yourself. That's so important, to take care of your body and your mind and your heart and your soul, your energy, your emotions, your well-being. I hope, you were able to pour back into yourself. That's what this weekend has been for me. It's been about refilling my cup. And so, yeah, I hope it's been that kind of experience for you as well. If not, make time for it. So welcome to Blood Moon Oracle. We're going to take a look at the message coming in for today. Today I'm using the Egyptian tarot along with my Isis Oracle, kind of like Egyptian themes today. And so we're going to ask Spirit, what is the most important message that we need to hear today? It could be encouragement. It could come in as direction and guidance. It could come in as something that you just need to hear, right? But let's see what that is. I hope you guys are well. I really do. I'm sending good energy of love, of inspiration, of encouragement, whatever, of direction, whatever you need right now. I'm sending energy out for you. All right, Spirit. What do you have for us today? What do we need to know? What do we need to hear? What is the message coming through today? We're going to start with the Oracle. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel led. And if you are new, welcome, my love bugs. There's lots of things on this channel that you can dive into. Healing, spiritual hygiene, chakra, alignment, spiritual gifts, a little bit of everything. Music, if you're a music lover, there's definitely music here as well. So let's see what the messages from Spirit is today. What is the message here today, Spirit? All right. Okay. And we're going to take it. So what came out today was Wings of Isis, Magic and Ritual, Ancient Power, Mysteries, and Chariots of Ascension, Merkaba. And this is all about uniting with the highest parts of ourselves, the angelic self, crafting sacred practices, hearing the rattle of Isis playing. We'll find out what that is. And then spiritual work of the highest initiate, right? And so the energy's coming out today. I feel like Spirit is speaking about the Wings of Isis. It's all about, and again, I'm getting this energy again. This energy was very heavy in a previous reading that I did about having angelic help even recognizing the angelic energy arising within you. All of this energy coming out is about some form of initiation for us, for someone specific, if this resonates, some form of initiation that's taking you into your spiritual purpose, your spiritual call. Um, the angelic realm is heavily around you, supporting this initiation for purpose of protection, for purpose of guidance, for purpose of self-recognition. There's something arising even in you, manifesting within this angelic energy as well. You may be showing up in a form of a protector or a guider, for someone else or for the world in general. I'm feeling with this energy here, there's some initiation happening within you that's causing some form of consciousness to arise and to manifest. I also feel like there's some initiation around spiritual practice. If you are someone who already has a spiritual practice and you have been getting some type of nudge to lift up or change or deepen your spiritual practice, this is verifying that or confirming that for you. If you have yet to actually solidify some form of physical or spiritual practice, this is the initiating of that. Maybe you've been having spirit nudging you to form some type of routine, some type of regular practice. And the purpose of that is, especially when we're dealing with consciousness and spirituality, this is necessary because it helps us not only to stay grounded and to stay healthy, but it also serves as a way to even open up to greater, excuse me, my morning voice, to open up to other areas that we may not have had experience with, or maybe even deepen our experience. Our spiritual practice grounds us, but it also provides a way for us to tap in to untapped areas within ourselves, especially for who we're talking about today. It really feels like spirit wants to open up more experiences that you have been purposed to experience, that you've come here to experience. Spirit is saying that through spiritual practice, through spiritual routine, or we can call it ritual, right? This is how this is going to be opened up within you or made available to you. There's a lot that you have yet to tap into, but it does require a level of discipline for that to happen. And that happens through spiritual practice, through ritual, through routine, through dedication and discipline, through committing to these things within yourself. Because what ends up happening is if we start tapping into parts of our consciousness and we're not grounded, we're not solidified in the basic foundation, which is spiritual hygiene, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. And so there's something about the initiation of this for someone, or the initiation of something taking you deeper into routine, right? You could be somebody that already has a routine. Well, spirit may be wanting you to embellish on that routine. Let's open it up and take it deeper, right? There's something more I feel like spirit is wanting to show you here. And this is being initiated through sacred practice, whatever that is for you. And I know there's probably a lot of people that will watch this and it will come across different for everybody, but use your discernment. You apply this to however you practice your spirituality or your religion, right? Whatever that is for you. I also have this energy of vibration that's coming through here. And I'm getting someone who may be tapped into music, someone who may be tapped into the throat chakra is coming out here. There's something about the playing of instruments or frequency, vibration that's coming through here. And you are being called, if you are tapped into this energy, to understand the power that lies there. There's an initiation coming in here as well. Spirit is asking you to tap into that power of music, of vibration, of frequency, either instruments I'm hearing, or it could be the throat chakra. It could be speaking. There's something about being aware of what you are speaking out loud, being intentional, because just like music carries a vibration, so does our words. They carry a vibration and they carry an intention. And Spirit is actually initiating more energy. I'm hearing there's more influence that's coming from this area. And because there is more influence that is being poured into this when it comes to you, that you be more cognizant and more aware of how you are using this. There's a level of responsibility that also comes along with this initiation energy that's coming in, that's taking us deeper into effectiveness, deeper into power, deeper into influence in many ways, to be careful of how you are using your words, to be aware of how powerful your words are, to be aware of how you can use these things, our instruments when it comes to music, or our instrument when it comes to our voice, to even speak life, to even create within our environment. There's something very powerful coming in here. And so whether we're talking about music, whether we're talking about words, Spirit is actually honing in on this energy, on this power that we are being initiated into, to control, not necessarily to control, but to influence the environment, right? To influence the environment. There's something coming in about that, and using words specifically, even if you have to go back, because sometimes we speak things and before we know it, it's left our lips and we're like, why did I just say that? Right? Understanding that there's power of life and death in the tongue, like what we speak actually manifests. Sometimes we allow things to slip out of our mouths and we are regretful. Spirit is also saying that you can actually cancel that out. Like you can go back and speak over that, right? Ask for forgiveness or cancel that out, right? So there's something about influence, about instruments. It could be musical for somebody. There's something about there's just, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to find the right words. There's something about the magnification of influence that is actually being given when it comes to music, I'm hearing specifically, and words. I keep hearing instruments, right? The voice is definitely an instrument, but I'm also hearing musical instruments. There's some vibration, frequency that will initiate this very powerful energy of transformation. And so Spirit is just bringing up this energy to make you aware of the power that is being magnified when it comes to these things, and the responsibility around that, like to be aware of the influence that you have when it comes to speaking or when it comes to using music as a tool, right? There's actually a purpose behind this magnification of this energy. It's supposed to be used for a specific reason. And just like anything else, when we're given power, it's not for us to lord it over, use it however we want, but there's usually a specific reason why we are given a certain level of autonomy or a certain level of authority. It's purposeful. Spirit is saying that here, that this is being magnified for a specific purpose. Okay, so be aware. I'm also getting for someone the initiation around being able to astral travel. Like someone's gifts are deepening. I do get just a lot of initiation energy. Either you're being introduced to something new, or if you've already been dealing and dabbling and practicing, it's being deepened, or you're being introduced to a deeper level or the next level or something even more powerful, right? And so there's something coming through about the Merkaba, about the chariot, about being able to travel, being able to communicate without actually leaving where you are. Now, there's also the understanding too of responsibility with this. It's almost like Spirit is saying, make sure that your heart is right. Because when you go to enter into this consciousness, to travel, you are going to travel in the capacity that your heart exists. So whatever that that is experienced in your heart when you decide to tap into this energy, that's what you are manifesting and traveling into. That's what the experience is going to be. So make sure that you are spiritually grounded, spiritually cleansed, right? Make sure that you're doing it responsibly. Make sure that you're doing it in a way that will be respectable. Like if you know that you're ungrounded and you're not balanced and you're just all over the place, Spirit is saying, don't try to tap into this energy. Don't utilize this energy, but make sure that you are aligned and right before tapping into the deeper levels of initiation that's coming forward for you here, especially as it pertains to the Merkaba. There's something about just making sure that you're not trying to tap into this without doing the necessary preparation first. Something about spiritual cleansing, grounding, just basic foundational things that you want to take into consideration before you enter into spiritual work. For somebody, this is opening up a greater level of being able to not only astral travel, but communicate. I'm even hearing tapping into deeper levels of healing through vibration, tapping into that instrument through. So it's almost like your capacities, there's something about your allowances that's increasing. And I don't know why I'm seeing somebody with a badge that's able to, scan, and you have access to certain different areas where your access is increasing. So whereas you only had access to certain different areas, now you are going to be open to access more areas. There's some initiation happening here. And so, yeah, that's what I'm getting. Let's go ahead and grab some tarot here. Let's see here. And I'm just going to take a look at very simple energies, past, present, and future. So for the past, I have the 9 of Wands, past energy, present energy, the 4 of Swords, and as we look towards what is coming, we have the World, completion. Okay. Let's see. So we look at the 9 of Wands, just to show you what this looks like. The 9 of Wands. We are talking about, Egyptian themes. And when we look at the 9 of Wands, nines can sometimes talk about a preparation for some type of transition or ending coming into play. The 9 of Wands is actually a posture of protecting the heart and the emotions, maybe even a pause of certain activities, or the acknowledgement that something can be expected, something is already underway. This could also be a card that limits, because there is some speculation around danger. It's almost like the intuition could be warning, to protect, because there's some danger at hand. Maybe a need for some type of regulation or coordination. So in the past, there was something about the 9 of Wands coming in as having to protect something. Maybe something was moving slowly on hold. You found yourself waiting for something. If you are somebody that has been, practicing some level of spirituality for a while, maybe you have been waiting to actually experience this. Some of the things that we talked about here in the Oracle. Maybe you've been waiting to experience something like this, but there was something that needed to happen first to avoid disaster, right? Maybe there's some healing that needed to take place. 9 of Wands is sometimes about healing, or there's just something that needed to happen to avoid danger while entering into this activity. There's a lot of initiation energy I'm feeling with the Oracle. And so there was something that maybe was paused or needed to happen first before entering into this energy I'm feeling. And this might be the recent past. You found yourself waiting Hmm. Um, Now, for you specifically, what needed to be healed, what needed to be addressed may have had a lot to do with um, the material things in life. The Nine of Pentacles and the Four of Pentacles clarifies that Nine of Wands. And I don't know if this has, something to do with not wanting to interfere with your ability to manage your resources. There's some caution or some block that may have resulted around resources if this was entered into too soon. And if it's not resources, it's just the flow of your everyday practical life, the Nine of Pentacles. This may also have to do with not being um, knocked off balance. The Nine of Pentacles can come in as a block sometimes when things are too good. We may not be able to see the larger picture or the larger reason to stay thankful when we have just everything at our beck and call. Or maybe being too self-sufficient. There's something here about the Nine of Pentacles coming in as something that may have needed to be addressed or understood before we can enter into the initiations that are coming up here. Because the Four of Pentacles can many times talk about this. It can be a pretty egoic energy. The Four of Pentacles connected with the Nine of Pentacles. It's almost like too self-sufficient. Maybe being a little bit selfish or self-centered, not seeing the greater scheme of things because we're just kind of in our own energy, just really focused in on what's in front of us or what's good for us. There's some healing of that, some identifying of that needed to be seen before entering into this energy. Because sometimes we can rush into things that we're not ready for, especially when it comes to tapping into our gifts. There's a saying that's coming up. It's like, don't allow your gifts to take you to places where your character cannot keep you, where your integrity cannot keep you, right? Don't allow your gifts to take you to places where your character or your integrity cannot keep you. Our gifts can take us to many places, bring us before great people. But if we don't have the integrity and the character to sustain those places, we won't be able to stay there, right? There's something about that too coming up here. And so in the past, I just feel like maybe this was something that was held off. If you have been asking for these experiences that we're talking about today, or you've been, preparing yourself for this or doing specific things and maybe feeling a little bit of frustration. It's like, well, I'm doing all the things. Well, why isn't this and this and this happening? It feels like there were some other things that needed to be situated within your reality before these doors were opened for you. That's what I'm feeling in the past. But in the present, we have the Four of Swords. And here's the Four of Swords. Again, there's something that's being seen or recognized here. And it almost feels like understanding right now, you may be coming into the understanding of the power that you hold and the position that you sit when it comes to, your life and what you've been given. Yeah, because this is really talking about understanding not only the position that you're in, but the responsibility that comes along with that position. Yeah. You may find yourself in isolation right now for whoever you are, in a position of solitude, not responding to a lot of things at the moment. I feel like there's a lot of, with the swords, we're talking about conscious energy. There's a lot of realizations that are happening right now. A lot of, I almost feel like there could be some awakening, maybe several. There's several realizations that you could be having right now. Let's see. Yep, Seven of Swords and the Two of Swords. Look at this. There's just a lot that's happening around you. Right now with the Seven of Swords, with all of this conscious energy around you, all of this realizations that's happening around you, I do feel like there's a lot of caution that you are feeling in the moment, a lot of caution, a lot of good guidance coming in for you, lots of instructions, maybe even realizing how protected you are at the moment. With the Seven of Swords, this is some realization of the current energy right now. And it almost feels like some awareness that is being sharpened within you about your situation while you're in isolation or separated. It just feels like, and even if you are around people, in your mind, you're not. You're in a whole different place, a whole different world. The experience that you're having internally looks very different than how you're experiencing things from day to day in your practical life. There's a lot going on beneath the surface, okay, that you may not be sharing. Two of Swords comes in as well. And this talks about your experience of, even though things may feel strange and things may feel a little contorted inwardly, I do feel like there is a lot of balance with this Two of Swords coming out. It still shows you very balanced, very tender, very connected, and then very favored within your environment too. There's some connection to everything around you, to where you are right now. That is good. It's good right now. Even though you're having this internal experience that may be causing you to shut down in certain ways, not consciously, but it may cause you to feel a little bit protective right now. I'll say that. Yeah, right now. And I feel like this is because of these initiations that are happening. And for some of you, if you've never had what I call, an awakening, maybe you have and you just don't know what it is. You don't know how to really interpret it as that. Or the dark night of the soul, where you actually get a chance to face all of your worst fears. It's really an internal process of the death of the ego is what it is. Or if you've ever heard of the idea of the, what is the bird that rises out of the fire again and again? I always forget the name of the bird, but it rises out of the fire over and over and over, and it just gets stronger, faster, more resilient. It's almost like that kind of energy. You could be having like some type of transformation in this moment. People may not see everything that's happening on the inside, but you definitely know what's happening. It's all about these initiations that's preparing and opening. It's cracking you open for this spiritual experience. Now, nobody ever said it was easy. We often see people that seem to operate easily in their spiritual gifts. There was a preparing for that. There was a process that they had to go through, right? Again, a spirit was saying, like, make sure your heart is right. Because when we're talking about spiritual things, it's a lot of reflection. It's a lot of mirroring. It's a lot of karma that's associated here. And so there's a lot of preparation and processing that happens not only before you enter in, but it's a continuous thing. It's not that it stops the processing, it just becomes a way of life, right? And you begin to understand the necessity of it, right? Every time you die to your ego, you awaken to something greater. You awaken to something more beneficial, right? So you understand that this is just a necessary process of this way of life. And so when we look towards the future, we see the world, and this is future energy, future prospects. And here we're talking about, again, more favorable circumstances, or great opening up to a greater level of experience or abundance or fortune, success, graduating in some type of way. But the world, for the most part, in the context of what we're talking about, initiation, it's almost like graduating and then preparing for the next level. It's also about an opportunity to integrate everything that we have just experienced on this last level as we enter into the next level, the next phase of our journey. Someone is graduating to the next level, right? You know what you've just experienced, time to integrate that, to maybe take a look at what that was and prepare to integrate that, because you're going to need it on this next part. Okay. Yeah. So I want to definitely take a look and see what challenges may come with this future prospect of the world, this graduation, and any advice that Spirit might have. Let's see. Any challenges? Oh, the Hermit is the challenge. And the Knight of Wands comes in as the advice. And so the Hermit is the challenge. That is the Hermit. Now, when we look at the Hermit is usually, again, that Four of Swords kind of energy that you're currently in. It's somebody that is, in a place of isolation. But it's not just for the sake of isolation. It's almost like going into a place of guidance, and it's almost like going into the wilderness, right? If you understand biblical things, being driven out into the wilderness to be tested, to be prepared, to be strengthened, right? To die to your ego, but coming back with so much to give, so much to share, so much valuable spiritual wisdom, right? You come back as the light. You come back with a light that can guide and help others, right? Through their spiritual mission. And so this comes in as the challenge, right? And I don't know if it's because of the difficulty of being alone. Silence sometimes is very challenging for people. Getting still can sometimes be very challenging for people. Let's see. Why is this coming in as the challenge, Spirit? The Hermit as the challenge. Oh, the Ace of Swords. Something about truth, maybe? Enlightenment. New beginnings. And the Emperor. So the Ace of Swords and the Emperor comes in to clarify the Hermit coming in as the challenge. Something about struggling with power. The Ace of Swords comes in as the highest symbol of royal power, a symbol of conquest. There's some struggle that will happen. I feel like it's going to be internally, and it could be egoic. Okay, it could be egoic. So there's some inner conflict that will happen, right? When you enter into this time of silence in this time of being out in the wilderness, going within, maybe even being called to separate yourself for this experience. There may be all types of things that come up during this time that you see within yourself that you'll have to confront. It's almost like that night of the soul. Yeah, night of the soul type of energy. Maybe being confronted with parts of yourself that you haven't really taken time to look at or deal with or acknowledge or surrender. When we talk about the emperor is a very powerful energy, especially with the ace of swords, right? And when we look at the hermit is really I feel like it's a very humble, submissive energy that gives up what it desires in exchange for the spiritual experience, for the spiritual guidance necessary. There's a lot. It's almost like going into a time of fasting, right? For somebody that loves food and loves taste and loves to have their desires quenched. Fasting is difficult because you're having to deny yourself the basic rights of living. It's almost like that kind of energy, having to submit and relinquish everything that you feel like you have a right to, right? It's like this type of moment. That's why this is coming in as a struggle or as the challenge here. As you move into this next level, it's going to cause you to actually take a moment to sit everything down, to deny yourself. We're not talking about food. I just use that as an example, but you will have to deny yourself some things. This might be different for each of us that are tapping in and that is resonating with this energy, but it's coming in as a challenge, Spirit is saying. Now, the advice is the Knight of Wands. Okay. Now, the Knight of Wands is I feel like it's very inspirational and is very resilient in that once it sets its eyes on something, the Knight of Wands is double fire, right? The Knights are fire energy, and then the Wands is fire. And so it's very, I want to say, aggressive when it comes to what it desires and what it seeks after. And if it is true that it's these things that you have been waiting for and asking to experience, this may be the thing that Spirit is asking that you tap into to get this job done. This is also talking about power too, but it's a directed power, right? It's almost like the energy of the black stallion, this very powerful beast, the beautiful beast, but that has all this power and this stamina and this drive and this energy, but it's untamed. So it's undirected. You have that kind of power, Spirit is saying, that kind of energy. You just have to direct it. And so Spirit is saying in the advice, this may be something beneficial for you. You have a certain level of power and stamina and energy like that black stallion. You just have to direct it towards this direction you're being guided towards here. This thing that you have asked to experience or inquired about or wandered about is being opened up to you, these initiations. And so you're being asked to direct your power in that direction towards spiritual things, towards this guidance that's available for you. And so there may be a temporary redirection of energy and power and intention here that may be, on your path for you to experience. I'm going to clarify the Knight of Wands, and then we'll shut this out. We have the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Wands. So we have 3 aces coming out here. For somebody, this is definitely a new experience that is going to, interesting. The 8 of Pentacles take a lot of work. This may, in fact, bring in a lot of, I feel like, good experience for you. You may enjoy this a lot. I don't know why I'm hearing it's going to put you on the map. I don't know what that means. It's going to put you on the map. Okay. But it's clarified by the Ace of Wands and the Ace of Cups. Okay. So we have the Knight of Wands. So we look at the Ace of Cups. We're talking about something that you're going to very much enjoy. Though it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice, like at the end of the day, this is going to bring in a lot of abundance. And it's going to introduce you to a new level of love in life. You ever did something, you're like, wait a minute, why did it take me so long to try this? I love this. Now I've wasted all these years that I could have been doing this. Well, okay, let me enjoy it from here forward. It's going to introduce you to something very joyful, a new level of love, more celebration. And I feel like a lot of tapping into more ways that you can experience pleasure. This feels very pleasurable. Not in the sense that we have learned pleasure. We only relate pleasure to things like sex, right? But there's many ways we can experience pleasure. You can get pleasure running through a field of flowers barefoot, right? You can get pleasure swimming in a natural body of water, right? There's many ways that we can experience pleasure. It doesn't just have to be perceived through one way, but there's something that's going to tap you into a whole new level of experience when it comes to having pleasure. There's also another level of creation tapping in through this Ace of Wands. That I just feel like there's just so much that you have yet to experience that this is going to actually open up for you. Okay. Whoever you are, this is amazing. 3 aces out here as you head into this next level through the world. You're graduating to the next level. And I feel like Spirit purposefully have caused you to wait for this. It's almost like there have been certain experiences that you needed to have before you were ready for this. Maybe some healing that needed to be done before you were ready for this. But you sit in this place of transformation right now. This heaviness that you may be feeling mentally is like you coming into some awareness that's necessary as you enter into these initiations. Yeah, it's preparation and understanding not to enter into it lightly. Like it's big. It's big. And for some of you, life will never be the same. And I tell you, once you put on the magic glasses, like Dick Gregory said, you can never take them off. And you may not want to. I know I don't. As heavy as it is, carrying some of the gifts of knowing, I'm willing to carry the burden of it. Yeah. Hard work, but worth it. So that's what I'm getting here today. This is the encouragement for someone. You're entering into initiation. It could be one of these. It could be all of them for you. But this is what comes out today. Okay. Yeah. Like, share, comment, subscribe if you feel lit. Letty is my name. Blood Moon Oracle is the channel, and we will see you next time. Bye.